'Cause at least when I'm high, I still have you.
Hey yo YouTube, what's going on? Juniio here, back again with another reaction video, back again with another viewer request. Super excited about today's episode because we are revisiting Nightwish. Hey, before we get started, pay attention to today's sponsor of the video. Not really, but look at this. You should all be subscribed to RuneGate Studio, my other channel, my professional videography channel, okay? Look, if you like what I do and you want to support me in some way, hit up this channel, okay? I guarantee you'll like it. Look at the quality content you missed from last week's episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the camera down so I can help properly.
See, all that quality content you're missing out on. And you could be witnessing it firsthand in person if only you subscribe to RuneGate Studio on YouTube. Link is in the description, guys. Alright, let's get to the video. Of course, as I mentioned, we're doing a Nightwish song. I put up a poll a couple days ago asking which song I should do. The most popular requests from the last video were The Poet and the Pendulum and Romanticide. As you can see here, The Poet and the Pendulum won by a landslide, 72 to 28%. That's pretty cool. Another note that I saw as I was looking at these comments is NC Kokistin nailed it. Said that I should really check out the backstory of that song. So I did a little bit of digging. I did a little bit of research into the whole story of what The Poet and the Pendulum is actually about. It was written entirely by Tuomas Halopinion, which apparently most, if not all of the band's material is. I think he's like the keyboard guy, but he's also the main, I guess, songwriter for the band. But it's about his relationship with the first singer, who I guess he had to kick out of the band at some point, and I guess the tough times that entailed for him personally and them as a band, and also just the struggles that they went through during that period in their history. I also saw some people like kind of alleging that he was interested in her romantically, but she just like didn't return his interest. I don't know I don't know. I can't confirm or deny any of that kind of thing. So, I mean, who knows if that's true? Maybe that's common knowledge and I just don't know. But needless to say, the song is about having to deal with some very tough choices, you know, making hard decisions that require sacrifice, and I guess the feeling that goes along with that. So that's the mentality I'll keep in mind when I listen to the song today. Of course, we're reacting to the live version from Wembley because that's what many of you have asked me to do. Let's take a look and see who exactly, huh? More. Wait, did I miss some? Oh my, there's even more than I thought. Also, before we do that, I've seen, honestly, too many people coining this term floorgasm. Ugh. And look, I know what you mean, and apparently this is a very common term amongst the fans, but I kind of wonder how Floor herself actually feels about it, because it kind of weirded me out a little bit, if I'm gonna be completely honest. And the fact that so many of you are just readily referring to her singing is that it's well, let's just say it's interesting. Okay, I ain't gonna hate. It's just an observation. Yeah, initially I had no idea what you're talking about, but I do now. We're just gonna try and move on, and let's thank everybody who requested the song for this day's episode. Starting with Ulysses Hernandez, Hepe Hepenen, Roberto Marto Estrada, Enigma Tim, Mario Sanz, Topias Latva, Vasiliki Politrunu, Mike Bohr, Prodesse, Jorge Conceição, The Mercat 5, Motoruvin, Grizzin.com, what? Coney Quezada, Zulkin 1, Anna Titalali, Sound Ocean, Yari Savolanian, Carly Perry, Digital Surfer, Nick Daly, Alaluya, Fredo Ramirez, Manga Lover 0149, Radu Kandranu, A Non-Y Mouse, and last but certainly not least, Zoran Milisik, even though he didn't actually recommend this song, but whatever, he's in his comments, and we're gonna give him due respect he deserves. Wow, a lot of people, hey? Look at all these people recommending this song. And you know what? It's because of each and every one of you that commented that I put it up as an option for the poll in the first place. So, of course, everybody, leave your comments down below, and maybe the next video could be yours. You never know. And, very exciting, very cool. Let's get into it, hey? This is live at Wembley Arena 2016. Apparently, this video is the highest quality for audio and stuff. So, I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna trust you, commenter, and hopefully you didn't lead me astray. I've got the lyrics on one end, I got the video over here on another, and we're good to go. Part 1, The White Lands of Emphathica. Oh, I'm over here again. Whoops, here I go. Hey. Is this live? Is the vocal recording live right now? Okay, here we go. Let me turn this up a little bit. Oh. Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, furious intro to the song, very epic. It's very heavy, very symphonic metal. I'm also seeing in the background like the swinging pendulum blade thing, which I guess should be obvious from the name of the song. It's obviously an allusion to, you know, Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Pit and the Pendulum, right? Right? Y'all have read that story, you know what I'm talking about? We're in part 2 now. Wow. Wow. Okay. There's some grit going on here, you know? Yeah, definitely a side of Nightwish I've never really heard before. I'm glad though. I'm glad that this channel has given me a reason to kind of delve back into bands and explore subgenres that I had kind of left behind or kind of drifted away from, you know? It's just always broadening my horizons, always giving me an excuse to just listen to cool music all the time. And, you know, I left Nightwish so early on that I feel like I've missed the majority of their history and what people actually know them by at this point. All right, let's take a little look at the lyrics for a second here, because we've got a lot to unpack. So we start off with that very operatic, light, angelic part at the beginning. Part 1, the White Lands of Emphathica, saying the end, the songwriter's dead, the blade fell upon him, taking him to the White Lands of Emphathica, of innocence, Emphathica, innocence. Now, I don't really know what Emphathica is. Maybe I should know, but I don't. However, it's interesting that the song opening starts with the lyrics, the end. Perhaps alluding to that the story of this song is cyclical in nature. Perhaps taking in mind what we know about the history of writing this song, it starts with the end of that current era of Nightwish that he kind of instigated by kicking first singer out of the band. So it's starting with the end of that era and then saying the songwriter's dead, the blade fell upon him, maybe just revealing his own feelings about the topic, how much it hurt him to kind of cut somebody that was so close to him out of his life. Then we get into part 2, titled Home, which is where it kind of starts picking up and gets a bit heavier. And we have the lyrics, the dreamer and the wine, poet without a rhyme, a widow, writer torn apart by chains of hell. One last perfect verse is still the same old song. Oh Christ, how I hate what I have become. Take me home. Get away, run away, fly away. Lead me astray to a dreamer's hideaway. I cannot cry because the shoulder cries more. I cannot die, I a whore for this cold world. Forgive me, I have but 2 faces. one for the world, one for God, save me. You know, initially I thought that these 3 lines were referring to 3 different people, but I feel like they could also just be referring to one person, the songwriter of the band. It's talking about somebody who dreams but is now dependent on the wine. Taking the experience of an alcoholic, right, is the destruction of dreams. A poet without a rhyme, a songwriter who is now struck with the inability to actually pen what he's feeling into words. It's like metaphorically speaking, saying that first singer that he had to kick out of the band, severance, I guess, hurt him so deeply. It was as if he was a widower, and he feels like he's being torn apart by the chains of hell, which immediately brings to mind that image in Hellraiser, if any of you have seen it, where the guy is just suspended in a room full of chains and hooks and then gets ripped apart. That's what I'm thinking of. One last perfect verse to the same old song, how I hate what I've become. I know that could be referring to maybe just rising tensions and the bad chemistry and vibes going on in the band, despite the fact they were continually putting out, I guess, what he thought was great music. However, it never really, I guess, reached the heights of greatness that he wanted it to, because it was just dragged down by all the negative associations with it, perhaps. I don't know. He could either hate the fact that he's continuing this charade to just create the perfect sound, or he could hate the fact that he has to kick her out in order to, I guess, make the band and himself healthier and to continue to grow and move forwards. Either way, it sounds like a lose-lose situation. And even if he did make the right choice back then, right, you could still feel awful in the moment and still feel like you made the wrong decision, even though you couldn't really see any way out of it. In the chorus, get away, run away, fly away, the first half of the chorus kind of seems like a reactionary response to this, like, maybe perhaps instantaneous fissure that is now opened up, separating him, the rest of the band, and then this ex-lead singer, telling her to both get away, run away, fly away as fast as you can so I don't have to deal with it. And then himself wanting to go astray to a dreamer's hideaway, which I guess could link up again to the very first section of the song where he's wanting to be taken to the white lands of Emphathica. Maybe that could be the dreamer's hideaway. I guess then you could take that utopian landscape as just almost as like a fantasy, as like a place where he wishes he could escape the pain, the emotions, the guilt perhaps associated with the choices he had to make. However, you know, in the end, it's just an imaginary land. It's not a place you can actually go and there's no place you can just go and forget about all your worries, consequence free, and then, you know, live the rest of your life there. That's not a healthy way to deal with things. I cannot cry because a shoulder cries more. So that line perhaps referring to the fact that since he was the one who made the decision, he feels like he has no right or try to take comfort and solace from others because they're hurting from his decisions. So what right does he have to also kind of confide his pain to them? I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say, but that makes sense to me. And then the second half of the song is a bit more contemplative. Forgive me, I have but 2 faces, one for the world, one for God, save me. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before, but I guess this idea of having this duality of identity, of purpose, having one face that you show your true self, that you show to God, and then the other one, another like kind of mask that you put on to kind of face the world. So perhaps again just revealing or just telling the fact that he had to hide his emotions and make the hard decisions, but inside, and his true self kind of showing to whoever was there to see it, was that he was also in pain and hurting a lot too, but by himself. I don't know, let's keep going. You know, we're only 3 minutes in. We got a long ways to go. Oh, okay.
Heart
Wow. Okay. And that was the end of the second part, Home. Again, this little verse here filled with images of nostalgia, rose-colored glasses, you might say. My home was there and then, those meadows of heaven, adventure-filled days, one with every smiling face. Obviously looking back on a certain time in his life where everything just seemed to be going great, and he didn't have any worries in the world, and was just skipping through the meadows of heaven, having a dandy old time. But then please, no more words, thoughts from a severed head, no more praise, tell me once my heart goes right. The second half makes sense. No more praise, tell me once my heart goes right. Kind of saying like, don't heap upon me accolades that you want to from this band, because currently his heart's not right. His mind is in a dark place right now. He's dealing with a lot of things, and he doesn't want to deal with people heaping praise upon him when he feel like he just doesn't deserve it. I like the aggressive delivery by Floor. Her performance is really good. It's captivating. She gets really into music, which is, fun. She has a good stage presence, and that's great. We're just gonna get into part 3, titled The Pacific. I live on the Pacific. That's pretty cool. Let's see if they get it right. Oh, there's even water there. Look at that. Alright, going for a dynamic change here. Good, that's what we needed. That is what we needed. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Wow. What an interesting change of pace. What a great sound. It's good because now, again, vocal diversity from Floor. I can see why people are so obsessed with her. I don't know. It's just after coming from that more heavy section before, it's just the soft tenderness of this high floating lilting vocals and just the very minimal instrumentation. The emotion hits really hard. Sparkle my scenery with turquoise waterfall, with beauty underneath the ever free. Describing the beauty of the Pacific Ocean and being underneath the waters. Tuck me in beneath the blue, beneath the pain, beneath the rain, good night kiss for a child in time, swaying blade my lullaby. So basically saying that you want to be covered by this kind of crushing weight of the ocean, because it shields you from the pain. It shields you from the rain because the entirety of what you're surrounded by is water. It's a good night kiss for a child in time. But this line, swaying blade my lullaby, harkens back to the pit in the Pendulum imagery, where that kind of rhythmic, hypnotic swinging of the blade going ever closer is like a lullaby to this person who I guess just wants an escape from the torment they find themselves in. Okay.
I'm afraid, so afraid, being raped again and again and again. I know I will die alone, but loved.
Is that from something?
Sound of guns, long enough to find yourself screaming every night, long enough to see your friends betray you. For years, I've been strapped onto this altar. Now I only have 3 minutes and counting. I just wish the tide would catch me first and give me a death I always longed for.
So it seems like this is a series of quotes or references to other literary works. I'm not sure what the first one's about, but the second one, "You live long enough to find yourself screaming," is from The Long Walk by Stephen King. The third one is, again, obviously a reference to The Pit and the Pendulum. What I think all three of these different kind of references and or quotes have in common is this sense of shifting emotions, transitions from hope to despair, just a wild roller coaster ride of thought, real human processes that rend you to your very core. Because right before it says, "On the shore we sat and hoped under the same pale moon, whose guiding light chose you all." So that sounds very hopeful, sounds very melancholy, like they're waiting for somebody, or perhaps reminiscing about the past and the good times. But all these quotes here saying, "I'm afraid, so afraid, I know I will die alone, but loved," and then saying, "You live long enough to hear the sound of guns, long enough to hear yourself screaming every night, long enough to see your friends betray you." So it's like that one's about the process of starting out with this very positive outlook on everything and wanting to try your best, and then kind of living through hell and realizing that everything is just bad all the time. And then the last one, The Pit and the Pendulum, the whole point of the story is that this guy is constantly attempting to escape these traps and is kind of getting those glimpses of hope, and then always awaking to find himself in a new one. So it's these three references are playing with the idea of, like I said before, shifting and conflicting emotions and never really knowing what the future holds, which I guess is perhaps the theme of the song. You never know what the future will hold. You never know what tough decisions you're gonna have to make one day. You never know if something you do is gonna hurt a lot of people, and maybe in the moment you're not gonna know if it was the right choice. Anyways, let's keep going. Passion play. Are those ravens flying on the screen there? Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay, so we got some of that Beauty and the Beast kind of vocals going on, even though Floor kind of came in pretty aggressive at the end as well. His vocals in this section, they got the job done, but they weren't as good as I've heard before from him. What he was saying was pretty interesting. "Second robber to the right of Christ, cut in half infanticide. The world will rejoice today as the crows feast on the rotting poet. Everyone must bury their own, no pact to bury the heart of stone. Now he's home in hell, serves him well, slain by the bell, tolling for his farewell." That's what he was saying. Some pretty dismal and bleak imagery there. Not leaving a lot of room for hope. Especially, the line, "The crows feast on the rotting poet." He feels like he's died. Then Floor comes in. The morning dawned upon his altar. Remains of the dark passion play, performed by his friends without a shame, spinning. All right, and then Floor comes in with the third verse here. Again, a pretty dismal and bleak lyrical theme, just saying how as this poet is rotting in the ground, the crows feeding upon his corpse, his friends came by and performed anyways, which again potentially could be a metaphor for the band, you know, continuing to play shows, and he being the main songwriter and also the person responsible for kicking out the singer, feels like that the rest of the band is kind of standing over his corpse and continuing on with their daily lives as if, you know, while he is alone suffering with his pain. And I don't think that he thinks that he's the only one hurting, but I think he thinks that he is unable to turn to anybody else. Perhaps, I don't know. That's the one way of looking at it, you know. I don't know these people. I don't know what their actual thought process were. But that's just, you know, how I'm interpreting it as I'm listening to it. Wow. Okay.
Today, in the year of our Lord 2005, two of us was called from the cares of the world. He stopped crying at the end of each beautiful day. The music he wrote had too long been without silence. He was found naked and dead, with a smile on his face, a pen, and 1,000 pages of erased text.
Wow. That's the keyboardist there at the end who did the today 2005. So is that when the lead singer was let go from the band? Yeah, okay, she was let go in 2005. This image at the end here. He was called from the cares of the world. He stopped crying at the end of each beautiful day. The music he wrote had too long been without silence. He was found naked and dead, with a smile on his face, a pen, and 1,000 pages of erased text. Man, that's crazy. That's dark. And I wonder how it feels for him to be performing this song 11 years later. It's a subject that's very personal to him, and I guess since he writes all the songs, a lot of them would be, but this one in particular seems like a song that would be very, very interesting to perform. Yeah, that can be tough. So he's dead now, right? But now we're hearing a heartbeat, so he's being reborn. Perhaps because we started this song off with the end, so now are we going back to the beginning at the end of the song? Oh. See, look at him. Okay. Yeah, I mean, wow, what an incredible song. Of course, of course. Obviously, it was deeply personal, deeply emotional. You could even see at the end, like the Thomas guy. He's singing along, eyes closed. He's not mic'd up or anything. He just is so into the music. Part 5, Mother and Father. Be still, my son, your home. Oh, when did you become so cold? The blade will keep on descending. All you need to feel is my love. Search for beauty, find your shore, try to save them all, bleed no more. You have such oceans within. In the end, I will always love you at the beginning. So it seems like now he's kind of come around away from the end of one era at the beginning of the song to the beginning of a new era at the end of this one. Peaceful, it's sad, it's heartbreaking, and just the way that Four is able to kind of perform these passages as well really is able to pack that emotional punch that I think the song needs and deserves. So that's pretty good too. I have to say that the slow moments, the slow parts in the song were the highlights for me. They were the parts where it felt the most raw and real. The rest of it was great, and I think the slow moments wouldn't have been as impactful if they hadn't been surrounded by, like epic orchestral scores and sweeping symphonic melodies and stuff like that. So I appreciate the whole thing. I'm just telling you that those were definitely the highlights for me. This lyrical style is why I got into symphonic metal in the first place. Like I love the imagery that they kind of typically evoke. A lot of times it's very dark, it's very gothic, it's very beautiful and poetic. And you don't hear that with a lot of other metal genres. That's what keeps me coming back to symphonic metal. Again, I'm going to reiterate this, but having a female-fronted metal band is so cool to me. The aesthetic, the sound is just so unique and interesting. Just makes all the lyrics just so beautiful. I'm going to have to give this song, rating from me. And that's the highest rating you can receive. Of course, that'll be all for me today, guys. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video. If you like the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you want to support me, subscribe to RuneGate Studio as well. That'll be in the description. Everybody have a great day. I don't know when I'll see you next. Maybe there'll be a video tomorrow. Maybe there won't be. It'll be hard for me to say. If you don't see a video from me in the next couple days, I'll post an update on the community tab letting you know what's going on with my life. So, anyways, later. Everybody